Hello, my Yankee friends, and hello, Heather, who muted herself right
Hello,
at
sorry.
the perfect timing, and
I feel like
that was a very long Allie. It's so nice to see you in here. All the besties have been asking about you, asking how you've been. So mad love to Allie. Hello, Wendy and Barbara. Okay, if you and Ruby, if you are just tuning in to the replay and you don't want to listen to the pre-story chit chat, then go ahead and skip forward 9 minutes because only the cool kids hang out for 9 minutes. So, welcome again, Allie and Ruby, and it just seems suiting tonight. Where is my magic mirror? Where is it? I know it's here. I need to spray paint this thing gold or silver. Try it again. Hello, Allie and Ruby. And I see Wendy and Barbara and Gina and Cheryl and Sarita and Sporter13 looks new. She's like, who is this crazy woman with the mirror? This is my gift from my very good friend Heather, because for I don't know how long, years, I kept saying, I need that mirror that woman used when we were kids on TV. And she never said my name. Well, maybe she did sometimes, but, and hello, Cindy Lynn. She'd always say Cindy, not Cindy Lynn. Chris, we missed you this week in the Inky Bestie stamp with me, as well as Terry. Lee was there. Hello, Barb K. Look at y'all. You know, I have a sense that it might be a little busier tonight because of the thumbnail. What do you think, Heather? You think,
oh,
you know,
FOMO, people want to know what the heck happened.
FOMO, right? Everybody wants to hear all about. Jessica, I haven't seen you in so long. Look at, I need to post like dramatic thumbnails more often. Y'all come out of the woodwork. This is what I'm going to color tonight. Tonight is going to be a color with me. So speaking of color with me, there's a few quick things I want to tell you before I start coloring and telling you about my vacation nightmare. Anyway, so if you follow me on social media, Facebook or Instagram, you've probably noticed we're real heavy on the Inky Bestie posts this week because we have, oh my gosh, the things for your membership every month of a nominal $15. You get, moving forward, a color with me. So I'm just going to color and you can ask away. This used to be a Copic class that I would do periodically. Now you're going to get it every month. Copics, watercoloring, pencil crayons. And on that note, I may have some news upcoming about some local, well, it's not really local. I'm doing it with someone local, but it'll be online for coloring. But nevertheless, if you're an Inky Bestie, you don't got to worry about it because you're going to get coloring. But there's also going to be a mixed media night. So we're just going to play and get dirty. And if you've ever heard of Brushos, this month I am going to find a dupe for Brushos. So I'm going to experiment. And if you don't know what Brushos is, type in the word brush with an OS for card making and go check it out. And yeah, that's going to be some fun. So if you're an Inky Bestie, you're going to get to see it all unfold. And moving forward, this month we're going to do, oh my gosh, countless ways to use embossing folders. But it's going to be very possibly the last focus-based class where in the future for Inky Besties, are you ready for this? We're going to do a I'll try it out, meaning I'll try out the latest product that's new just for you guys before anybody else sees. Or you may have found a video online and you're like, every time I try to do this, it doesn't work out. Cindy Lynn, help me, show me how to do this. And if all the other besties, or not all, but if most besties vote that up, then we'll do that. So there's all kinds of new things coming. We're restructuring how we do videos for Inky Besties. So if you're not a member, now is the time to get in on your free trial. I say that every single week because every single week there's always a reason why now's the time. I've also added a Google forum. So there's your own place for buy and sell and questions. And you know what? Everything you need, if I don't get to it right away, someone else will. And you've got your own community there. There's also a new chat feature. So you can instant chat with me. How amazing is that? I mean, and more instant than Facebook, because Facebook, I'm kind of getting immune to getting bombarded with messages. So if you're an Inky Bestie and you message me there, you get priority, right? But and the best way, it doesn't mean that if you're not an Inky Bestie, you can't ask a question. The best way to ask a question is on the YouTube video you saw it on or the blog post, because I am compelled to answer there because it helps the algorithm and it also helps other people. Now, what was the third thing that Inky Besties now get? Oh, yes, the room. The red, no, not the red, family channel. There will be no Christian Grey stamping with all the ladies. But you know, I might have to call that. Well, maybe I'll email the guy from 365, because that, I think we'd see a surge in memberships if he was there hosting up. We have got a 24/7 stamp room. And that's, I should call it the Inky Bestie stamp room. I called it the Inky Bestie space. And that's not very descriptive. See, sometimes I come up with these ideas after the fact. Anyway, Inky Bestie stamp room. And it's there 24/7. All you got to do, hop in with another Inky Bestie. Nobody stamps alone in their jammies. Or I will not name the person, but sometimes it's like, what are you doing? Your video's off. And then the video comes on and it's like, I'm just in the shower. You never know what anybody's going to be doing in there, right? We won't mention any names. Y'all know who it is. But hello, Gina. And I think I already said hello to Gina, didn't I? I hope. I want to make sure I don't miss any names. No, yeah, I did say hello to Gina. Thought I was going crazy. Kimberly, did you get my tag? I saw, oh my God, Kimberly is our resident cookie maker. I probably shouldn't say that because now everybody's going to want cookies. But I saw this girl make this cookie that you break apart and sprinkles and this thing falls out that you can eat that she made. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. So I had to tag Kimberly on it. So there was something else I wanted to say to someone and I forgot. So maybe it'll come to me, maybe it won't. But tonight I am going to make a thank you card for the lovely people. Wait till you hear about the lovely people that towed us. I'm going to make them a thank you card because there's something very special about this tow company that I will get to at a certain part in the story more than once. So, hello, Karen and Nicole. I haven't seen you, Nicole, in a long time. You know, don't we all just thrive off a little drama? And Cheryl Lee, everybody likes a good little drama. And trust me, I'm first in line.
Else's drama.
Exactly. I'm first in line. I'm like all the 90 Day smut. And then I just found on CTV, they have a plethora of all these other dramatic romantic shows. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And they're free on CTV. If you're in Canada, you can sign up for a free account. Well, all signing up is free everywhere. But there are a bunch of shows you can watch for free anyway. So there's a whole bunch of drama there. I haven't got on the Real Housewives drama yet. I'll just leave that one alone. But nevertheless, so tonight I'm going to do my very best to color. Actually, why don't we just zoom this in? Actually, I'll zoom it in a moment when I show you. I'm going to color this whole image with just this because I like to keep it simple for you, right? So, no sense in pulling out 47 caps to color one little red truck. And it has to be red for very specific reasons. Well, you saw the thumbnail, right? So, I'm going fire engine red because you saw the thumbnail. So this is R24, R27, and R29. And I'm going to say light, medium, dark periodically. The light is the 24, the medium is the 27, and the dark is the 29. And then I'll say light, medium, dark again for my black tires, which is C6 is the light, C8 is the medium, black 100 will be the dark. I've got some BG 000 for my windows. I've got some Arteza markers, and I know these aren't available singly except on my website. This silver, wait till you see how amazing it is. And just to add a little differentiation, that's a really big word, a little differentiation in the differential of the different truck. I'm going to add some Sakura Jelly Roll, the sparkle. I did link this for you, and it comes in a pack of many. Get many, because the sparkle in them makes the little ballpoint get stuck, and you'll get every lighter match, boiling pot of water, everything you can put, aside from, like, you know, there's no saving it. I've gone through how many Sakuras. Anyway, and my silver and my black Arteza. I pretty much use Artezas exclusively for lining and stuff. And this silver is very pretty. So that's that. This here is going to be my thank you card for the guys at Jamie's Towing. Shout out to Jamie's Towing in Canada. But nevertheless, so let's talk about first the excitement I had about our vacation. So we had decided that, where am I going to start here? I think I'm going to start with the red. So because I'm going to be talking, if you are an Inky Bestie and you've taken my Copic coloring class, you know I start light, I apply medium, then I apply light to blend it in, and then I go in with my dark, and then my medium and my light. So I know, just watch, okay? Nevertheless, so our vacation, I had convinced Todd, now I got to determine where I want my light to come in from. Probably, let's just go bang on. Let's not complicate things because it's a really long bed. So let's just go bang on. So I convinced Todd that we should have a road trip camping vacation this year. Because some of you may remember I took little Miss Angelina on a road trip last May or something. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we had such a good time. But we slept in the Lexus one night, and because of course the seats fold down and everything, and then got a hotel another night. And Heather, feel free to interrupt me for, you know, there may not be lots of breaths here in this video tonight, so feel free.
Will do.
Okay, so anyway, long story short, we had such a good time, and I'm not sleeping in the back of my Lexus with Todd and two dogs, as little as they are. It wasn't happening. So I said, hey, let's rent a Sprinter van and, you know, do like all the cool YouTubers and experience van life. Because I have ulterior motives. I want one day when we retire to van life or some kind of RV life or whatnot in Europe. I think that would be really cool. So why not give Todd a little taste? Because Todd's not the most adventurous guy in the world, right? So let's get a little adventure in his life. And I just did that with my medium. Okay, anyway, no. Yeah, I did do that with my medium. Anyway, so I said, let's rent a Sprinter van. Now, let me tell you, these things are expensive. 1 week, with all was said and done, with all the miles and everything we wanted, we were looking at about $2,200. But keep in mind, we can cook our own food. We don't need to go to a hotel, so we're not eating out. So this was, you know, I was selling it hard, and he agreed. So I went online in early July, booked all our camp spots. We were going to the hot springs for a couple nights. We were going here, there, everywhere. I had it all planned out. So with that being said, we go and pick up this van. And of course, this takes an hour of my... You know that when you're ready to go on vacation, it's the morning you're headed to the airport, or the morning you're loading the... Whatever it is, you're like, I just want to go. Well, of course, you know, this guy, because this is done through Outdoorsy, and it's an app, and it's kind of like Airbnb. So basically, you get on this app, and you rent someone else's vehicle. Beware. So, you rent someone else's vehicle, and off you go. So, we get there, and he's got to, you know, explain everything. Oh, I should have done... No... Nah, I should have done the wheel wells. That's okay. I've already committed now. he's got to go over everything. And I'm like, you can take that bedding, you can take that basket, you can keep this, you can keep that, because it's parked in front of his house. I don't want all your junk in this vehicle for my weekend. It's not junk. It's not junk. I shouldn't say it's junk, because it's not junk. The van was very, very nice, staged very, very nicely, but I wanted to take my stuff. I didn't need all of his bedding and pillows and foo-foo stuff, right? And then in the drawers, all these baskets, and I'm like, okay, let's get this show on the road. Finally, we got the show on the road, and we're headed back, probably a good half an hour drive home, so that we can load it up with all of our stuff. So we get home, we get it all loaded. So keep in mind, I embarked to go pick up this van at 7 o'clock in the morning, okay? By like 11 or 12, we're finally on the road, headed west, because we're going to BC. We're headed to the interior. You know, that's our end destination, and we're going to have a most amazing vacation. I'm so excited. I couldn't wait.
8-hour trip if you make it to the interior.
Yeah, well, we were going, I don't know, we were going to Canyon Hot Springs in BC, which I don't even know. I think it was, if you drive straight there without stopping, it's like 6 hours. But we have puppies, so we're stopping all the time, you know what I mean? So we're taking our time, and, you know, I'm on the road now, so I'm okay. I'm on the road now. I don't care if I pull into my destination at dark. Part of the experience is the road trip. Like the experience of getting there, and what an experience it was to not get somewhere. But nevertheless, so off we go. And we're just kind of strolling along, taking the dogs out here and there, you know, doing our thing. And we get not even an hour outside of Calgary. Got to stop for food and road trip stuff, you know. And I was going to buy that Prime drink, that Logan Paul Prime drink. I keep hearing all this stuff about it. It's the drink that's caused all the energy drinks to be. And then I thought, no, I don't need to be climbing the roof, right? So we had lunch in the van, and I'm so excited. And I had my first, like, I used, you don't need to know that. Anyway, I'm like, I'm not using a public restroom, because I have a bathroom and everything in here. I was made in the shade. I was loving it. So we end up on the highway again. Now we're in the beautiful Rocky Mountains. And I had videos for you guys because it was smoky. You could barely see the mountains until you were right in them. But it was beautiful. And I was so excited. And I was like, yay, this is going to be the best trip ever. So we get to almost Golden, BC, which, I don't know. Heather, Google Calgary to Golden, how long that's supposed to take, will you, for me? So we're descending, because you go through the pass to get to Golden, and there's a lot of construction on the highway there now, because they're widening it to 4 lanes from 2 lanes, where one of the lanes, when you're driving in it, you can see over the side of the mountain without construction. This is how tight it is getting down or out of Golden. So we're
3 hours.
No, it's way more than 3 hours from Calgary.
But you're going from the south end, so probably another hour onto that for you.
Okay. Because I mean, God, Banff's an hour and a half.
And Banff's only an hour for me.
Okay, that's why then. Okay. All right, yeah. So we're descending into Golden, and there's road construction, okay? So there is no room to have a problem at this point. So we're descending. And all of a sudden, Todd goes, uh-oh. And I'm like, what do you mean, uh-oh? Because I let him drive. Well, that remains to be seen. He was in the driver's seat for the trip. Whether or not he was making his own decisions remains to be seen. But I go, what do you... Hey, you can't be a backseat driver when you're in the front. I mean, I could smell the dashboard. So, you know, if I was a backseat driver, I'd have been like, you know, having a nap, which I should have been because OMG. So we're descending into Golden, and Todd goes, uh-oh. I'm like, what do you mean, uh-oh? He goes, I have no engine. And I'm like, what? And like, I can't even like give you the response that was there, because I was just like, what do you mean no engine. And he's like, I have no power. There's nothing. Like, look at, and I can't see, but he's like, my foot is to the floor and there's like, nothing's happening. And I'm like, oh my God, pull over. There's nowhere to pull over. So we stop. And that means all the other vehicles behind us also have to stop. And I said, turn it off. So he turns it off and I'm like, turn it on again, because I'm like, we have to do something. Like we're blocking traffic here in this construction zone, so we have to do something. So he turns it on again, puts it in. I told him to put the flashers on too, and he turns it on again, puts it in drive, gives it gas, and it goes. So I'm like, oh, thank God. But wait, this cannot be good. And he's like, I don't know what that was. And I'm thinking, I don't know the severity of it at this point because I'm not in the driver's seat. So, not even 5 minutes goes by and he goes, oh my God, it's happened again. And it happened again. Okay. Hello from Florida, Judy. So it happened again. And I'm like, well, I'm putting the flashers on. Turn it off. And he turns it off. And I said, okay, wait. Okay, turn it back on. And sure enough, turns it back on and it works again. So we get into Golden and I'm texting the owner. I'm like trying to explain what's going on at this point. And we get into Golden and we get into the Esso card lock. It used to be the Husky, if you know the area. It's now a Husky or a Esso card lock. So we get into there and we park and I'm on the text trying to get the owner. And this is what he tells me, okay? He goes, something to this effect. Oh, this happened before, but we changed the alternator. So it's got to be this thing, which he's now explaining to me to go into the back of the vehicle where all of the components are that wire all the lights and all the electronics for the camper part of this Sprinter van. And in my mind, I'm going, how does any of that have to do with what just happened to the engine? I'm not connecting the two at all. And if you're connecting the two, you're really not. But anyway, so I'm not connecting the two. So he's like, okay, let's get on video call. And oh my God, we couldn't get on video call. So we had to try and do WhatsApp and get all on the same. And he's like, okay, so go back here. And I've got holding the phone and Todd's back there underneath trying to find wires. And he's like, okay, disconnect that wire. And Todd cuts this wire. And now he's like, okay, now drive around for 10 or 15 minutes. You're going to have no problem. And I'm thinking, how does that have anything to do with that? I'm just not getting it. But this is number one, a diesel engine I know nothing about. Number two, a Sprinter van I know nothing about. Number three, he's the only lifeline we have right now. So I kind of just got to do what he tells me to do. And then I said to him, I go, so what happens if we drive around and everything's fine and then we leave and it happens again? He's like, no, you're going to be fine. He goes, that's the only thing different in the van since that problem happened. Oh my God, I hope nobody put gas in it. And I'm like, I think we'd have known before now. We've been driving for, at this point, this is at about 5:30. So we had been driving for a good 6 hours. I think we would have known prior to that point. So I was like, you can kind of put that out of your mind. Don't stress. So what do? We drive around Golden like little Golden customers for the next 15 minutes or so. Nothing happens. So it's like, well, I guess we continue. What else? What other options do we have? Right? So off we go. So we're trucking along, no issues. You know, mind you, we did sit in Golden too for probably a good hour, 45 minutes to an hour, trying to troubleshoot and get all of this stuff figured out. So the van had a lot of time to, you know, relax, right? Anyway, so we leave. And if you know the area, again, there's a hill called 6 Mile Hill. And it is exactly what it says it is. In the mountains, 6 Mile Hill. And it did it again. But this time, if you follow me on Instagram, this time, this dark blue gray smoke was I'm sitting in the passenger seat of this van, and I happen to see something moving to my side, and I look out the window and I'm like, oh my God, we're on fire. Because all I could see was smoke, and I thought we were on fire. That's how much smoke there was. I'm like, oh my God, we're on fire. And I rolled down the window. Like, technically I should have got out, but I rolled down the window because I don't want to jump into fire. And I look, and it's coming from the exhaust. So now I realize, okay, I can get out. And I took a video of it anyway. So now I'm like, I knew it. You know us women. We know it, right? And I'm like, I knew it. And I'm not happy because now we're a good half an hour outside of Golden, in the middle of nowhere. And oh my God, did my cell phone work? Thank God my cell phone worked. So I get on the phone again. I'm like, it happened again. I told him. And he's like, wow, I don't even know what he said, honestly. I said to Todd, turn us around. We're going back to Golden. So we get turned around, and it happened again. We'd stop. It happened. And this was happening every 3 to 4 minutes. So I was like, wait, if this was my van, I would appreciate someone trying to preserve my engine and whatever's going on, right? So we stop, and he says, okay, you're gonna have to call roadside assistance. So that was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare, because roadside assistance for outdoorsy, it wasn't so bad after I stopped getting this one twit of a person. But basically what happens is outdoorsy roadside assistance is in Texas. I love all my Texas girls and guys and thems and theys, but listen, you don't know nothing about where I am if you live in Texas, okay? Nothing. And I can tell that these people are Googling, and I'm like, listen to me. I'm going to tell you, there is nothing in between me and Golden. Nothing. And this girl is like, well, it's our policy that, we're just going to tow you to the nearest safe place. And I said, define safe place. You notice how we're making eye contact now? Because I was so livid at this point, because I'm angry that this happened. I'm angry at myself for leaving Golden, but what else was I going to do? And I'm projecting, but she's deserving because she was just like, I'm like, define safe. And she goes, well, like a roadside pullout or a rest stop. I said, honey, if you think you're going to find me a roadside pullout or rest stop, you've got another thing coming. Thank God for me, because we would have been at a roadside pullout or rest stop for the remainder of this story, which that didn't happen. But anyway, she goes, well, I'll have to talk to my whatever dispatch team, something or other. Meanwhile, I'm like, honey, you go do what you have to do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on the phone with tow trucks. I'm going to start problem solving, because that's what I do. I'm going to go into self-preservation mode. Okay. So I'm going to start problem solving, because you are not helping me right now at all. And there's no alcohol right now either, because we're driving, you know what I mean? So honey, I'm phoning tow trucks. So I get, this is really funny actually, because I said to Heather in a very colorful way, I said, where the is Jamie with Jamie's towing? Because there ain't no snow on this highway. I was so mad, because Jamie's Towing has a TV show called Jamie Davis Towing, Highway Through Hell. And what it is exactly that, because that's what that highway is. Especially in the winter. It's not like that in the summer. I shouldn't say especially in the winter. In the winter, it's the highway through hell. And these heavy wreckers, heavy tow trucks, it is unreal what I've watched the show. Like I live here, so I watch it. Anyway, I'm like, where the beep is Jamie? Because there's no snow on this highway. Because nobody is coming to help us. We finally get dispatched through the tow company in Golden, and he is nice enough to phone me. And I told him I'm right, blah, blah, blah. I had my GPS coordinates. He knew exactly where I was. And he says, I'm just going to go switch out my truck and I am on my way. He goes, I will not be more than 30, 40 minutes tops. I'm like, amen, I'm going to be fine. My poor, and the vehicle, by the way, the engine ran. We were fine just sitting there idling. So we would turn it on, put the air conditioning on, because I have 2 little babies in fur coats, okay? And, you know, my not so fur coat, but, you know, my winter coat, if you will. I am not sitting there going to roast. So anyway, this nice guy from Ben's Towing, Jason, Jason phones me back about 15 minutes later and he goes, I have bad news. And this is just the beginning of a trickle series of events that we were plagued with. He goes, RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, just dispatched me to Field, which is 40 minutes the opposite direction of Golden. So I'm half an hour this way and he's going 40 minutes that way. And he goes, I'm going to be there. I'll be to you 6 hours max, around there. I'm like, there's no point in getting angry at him. Like, it's not his fault that he's the only towing company in Golden and I'm on the highway. So I said to Todd, okay, that's enough. Let's get that roadside kit out, whatever. And I open it up and there's a little triangle thing and I put it on the highway because it's starting to get dark. And I'm like, you know, it's going to get dark. And what if we're not idling and, you know, our flashers or I don't know, like, you know, you see idiots every day on TV. I want this extra, like this flasher was literally, I could show you the whole thing in this like window right now. It was so light that when I stuck it on the highway, Todd goes, well, you might want to reevaluate that. And I'm like, reevaluate what? Don't even start with me right now, Todd. He goes, the triangle, it's on the side of the road. It just, a vehicle went by and it went, I'm like, I will fix that. I got out of the truck and I got a rock and I put it back on the highway and I put a rock on it. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. Now I'm thinking, we have enough mix to make Caesars Bloody Marys. It's a Canadian version, if you will. I'm like, I was thinking, I don't even drink. Very rarely. Anyway, I was like, I need me something. I was like, I can't do that. Okay. Calm down. So we're sitting there. We're just sitting there. We're just sitting ducks at this point. We're just waiting for 6 hours to go by. So I don't know how much time went by. Hour, 2 hours. I could go back to my phone conversation with Heather and timestamp it. But all of a sudden we're sitting there. And who goes flying by us on the highway but Jamie Davis Towing? And I watch him just fly by us because he's just doing the speed limit, which seems like airplane speed to someone sitting on the highway. And we watch him like this, right? And then all of a sudden, all I see is brake lights on this tow truck. And he has to slow down rather, like, not as quickly as a vehicle. And then he starts backing up. And I was like, this is interesting. Like, what's he doing? Because we've got a call with Ben's Towing. But I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, so he backs up and he's off to the side of the highway. I get out and he goes, are you guys in trouble? I said, yes, very much so. He goes, what's the problem? I said, I don't know. I said, and I explained to him everything that got explained to me with Ben's Towing. Okay. So he goes, he's looking at the vehicle, and I can see his motor running. He's trying to, determine, can he tow us in? So I literally said to him, I said, if you can get me to town, I will phone roadside assistance. I've got a guy that is my contact. He is amazing because at this point, I forgot to tell you, this guy was so awesome. He agreed to have Ben's Towing tow us to a campsite because that's all there is out there, right? And this guy he was my saving grace. I said, I can call him and get this job switched out to you. He goes, it's running. And I said, yeah. He goes, it's not stalling. I said, no. He goes, well, then I can just hook the wheels up and just pull you running. You just put it in neutral. I'm like, honey, you do what you got to do. I'm like, okay, my night's turning around because this is the TV show I've watched. I'm like, I'm so excited now, right? I'm like, yeah, Jamie Davis Towing is going to... I know. How do you get excited about being broke down on the highway? But, I got my dogs, I got my man, I got my food, I got my bed, and now I got Jamie Davis towing to like save the day. I was stoked. I was like, yep, okay. So hence a lot of people in the Instagram video were like, or reel were like, you're so positive, and there's no point in, being miserable about it. I had my moment where I was upset, and then, I just kind of got over it. I've talked so much, my blending is awful here, but anyway, whatever, my markers are getting dry from my fan. So, Jamie Davis, we get everything switched over, and he pulls us in. We arrive at our campsite, which is 30 minutes down the road it was 11 o'clock when I was in the shower, and we had been there for about 15 minutes because this girl wanted to have a shower. I felt gross. So 10:45 at night. So almost 12 hours after leaving our house, we pull into a random campsite in the dark. And the worst part about it was the van did not have, and if you've ever RV'd, you're going to know exactly what I mean, okay? Todd gets the cord out to plug the van in, and he gets this cord and he goes to the plug, and it looks like a stove plug. Like, it looked foreign to us. I mean, something you'd plug a dryer into. Like, it was a weird 3-prong plug, and we had a regular house 3-prong plug. And if you're in Europe, you're not going to get it at all. An American 3-prong plug, okay? And there was no converter. So we had no AC that whole night. It was miserable. The mosquitoes were terrible. Even if we tried to use a mosquito net, it was awful. It was the worst sleep I had in such a nice van. Like, because the inside of this van was amazing. Anyway, so Saturday, roadside calls. Oh, Mrs. Ondrick, we're gonna get you all squared away, and we're gonna make some calls. I'm like, go ahead. I'm gonna make my own calls, honey, because I know I'm gonna make my own calls, and I'm gonna find out who's gonna see us in this little town. But everybody had said phone Apex, because Apex deals with diesel, blah blah blah. So anyway, I get on the horn Saturday morning, and I'm making all my calls. Somebody's like, we can drive to whatever shop on Monday because it's all downhill. We shouldn't have a problem. So, I'm making my calls. Everybody is booked, clear through to the second week of August. And this is, forget, this is a week ago. Well, it was a week ago tomorrow. No, a week ago tomorrow. We spent a week at home. 2 weeks ago. So this was 2 weeks ago, right? So anyway, I get OK Tire. Sean, who will not be watching this, but I liked you at first, Sean. Anyway, Sean from OK Tire, he goes, yeah. He goes, I can't see you today, but if I get a cancellation, I'll call you so you can come in. But he goes, my diesel guy is here on Monday. I'm going to put you in at 1 o'clock. I said, I'll see you Monday at 1 o'clock with bells on. Come hell or high water. I will be there. So now we're just sitting ducks for the weekend. And the owner is like, don't worry, I'm going to reimburse you for all of this, and you won't get charged for all the rental for these days, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no sense in griping about it, because what can I do, right? The campsite...
You were lucky to get a campsite.
We were. So beggars couldn't be choosers. Now, I got to say something about the campsite, because they may or may not be watching this. The people there are Whispering Spruce Campground in Golden. The people are bloody amazing. I mean, the one girl waited up for me so late and she didn't see us come in, but they were so nice. They got us in there. They accommodated us. They were so nice to us. The problem with that campsite is there's no water, meaning there's no lake, there's no river. Like, there's water that you can get with a hose to your, vehicle, but there's no water for the girls to, go for a swim or cool off, or, there was no, like, hiking trails because you're on the top of a really steep hill overlooking Golden, because you're kind of on the mountain coming down. So here's your campsite, and then there's more mountain, so there wasn't a lot to do there other than color. And some of you guys that follow me on Instagram probably saw, whoa, wrong color, saw me. That's okay, I did darker up there because that would be a shadow anyway. Probably saw my coloring, because I made the best of a really crummy situation, and I pulled out my coloring and I colored for the weekend. We did on Saturday take a taxi 10 minutes into town, which cost us $21 to go to the grocery store, because normally we would drive ourselves in our van, and then coming back for some reason was $25. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe we got stuck at an extra light. I don't know. So it was almost $50 for $60 at the grocery store. So Todd, our resident budget police, was not happy about that, to say the least. So Saturday, I drank 2 Caesars, and I got a little glow going on. I was like, oh me, oh my, there's no more Clamato. Well, let me just do that order grocery thing. No. Not in Golden, you don't. They have a grocery store, but they don't do that kind of thing. And I certainly wasn't going to spend $50 for a taxi to go and get $6 tomato juice. So there went that. I mean, I could have just drank all my sorrows away, but that's how Saturday went. Sunday,
You got your converter.
I got our converter, $15, and oh my God, Jamie, the nice lady, if you're watching this, you are a gem. I just love her. She's like, oh, you could have come and got me. I would have. And I had other campers going, oh well, that's the host trailer over there. Just go knock on it. You know, I don't see any lights on. It's like, you know, almost 11:30 at night. I'm not knocking on someone's trailer. Like, that's just not appropriate. So anyway, we got our converter for $15, which the owner did kindly reimburse me for. So that was really nice. But Sunday, what did Sunday consist of? Sunday consisted of moving the picnic table every 15 minutes because the sun kept coming and we were trying to stay out of the heat, and the poor dogs were panting, and Sunday was just like, oh, cock-a-poo-poo. It was so hot. And this girl, even before I gained my COVID weight and I would go to the Caribbean, I'm the girl at the swim-up bar or under the palapa with a pina colada. Where are my I don't like sun girls? I mean, I like the sun because it's good for our planet, but I don't like to be in the sun. I want to see thumbs up for all my I agree with you, Cindy Lynn girls, because give me a pina colada, a palapa, or, you know, some kind of cabana or a swim-up pool bar or something, and I'm good. I'm not laying on the beach getting skin cancer like everybody else. No, I'm a pasty white girl. So Sunday, that's kind of what was, and they were nice enough to let us know we could move spots on Monday. So I was like, well, with any luck, we won't be here on Monday. Well, we won't be coming back. We'll see what they say at OK Tire. So Monday comes and I'm, getting everything cleaned up and ready to pack up to go down to OK Tire for the day, because they're going to see us at 1:00. And I've got laundry, because there's a laundry mat, like laundromat right next to them. So I had it all planned out. And the roadside assistance phones me Monday morning and says, okay, so we're looking at a dealer in Calgary to tow you to. I said, whoa. You guys are so out of the loop. I already talked to somebody on Saturday and told them we have an appointment today at 1:00. He goes, yeah, I just got off the phone with them and apparently they're not going to see you today at 1:00. And I'm like, hold that thought. Can you call me back in 10 minutes? So obviously we know who I'm calling. So I call OK Tire and the guy answers and he goes, we hold. It was just, OK Tire, we hold, click. I thought, well, good thing I wasn't calling 911 or anything, but okay, I guess so. I mean, since you were so nice about it, no problem, I'll hold. So I did all our breakfast dishes by the time he came back. And when he came back, I will preface this with, he sounded like he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off on a typical Monday morning and had no time to talk to me whatsoever. And I said, hi, I'm the Sprinter van that you have booked in at 1 o'clock. He goes, yeah. I already talked to the roadside assistant, so we can't see you today. I said, okay, I just a second here. Can you tell me what happened between Sean booking me the appointment, my calling Sean back on Saturday because there was another camper with a Sprinter van, and look at all my thumbs up, people. I'm like, yep. There was another Sprinter van person who had one of those little things that you plug into the vehicle and you read the code. So we knew it was the turbo at this point, which totally made sense. So what happened between Sean booking me and me calling Sean back to tell him it was the turbo, and him saying both times, see you Monday at 1, he goes, well, I don't know what you were thinking that you'd get an appointment here today. He goes, everywhere in town's booked until the middle of August. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, there I go thinking the world revolves around me, just making my own appointments and things. What was I thinking? Excuse me? I said, excuse me? Like, did you really just say to me, like, what did you think you were thinking? Or however he phrased that. And he goes, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm going to stop you right there because I'm not going to let you waste any more of my time. Have a nice day. And I hung up on him. So now we're getting towed back to Calgary. So now I'm like, great. Now I have to figure out how we're getting to Calgary because we're getting towed. So I call Jamie Davis because Rob said, you need any more tows, you have any problems at all, you just call me, I got you, because Jamie Davis has a warehouse, a yard, a situation, an address in Golden. I'm like, I will. He doesn't answer because I don't know this at the time, but he's out of reception on another call. So the roadside assistance gets Ben's towing back on it. So I phoned Jason, and Jason says, okay, I got another tow. I'm going into Calgary. Blah, blah. He goes, I'm going to come up there. I want to look at your van. He goes, can I bring my diesel mechanic up? And I'm like, I would love to say yes. Like, by all means, come up. I said, but Jason, I don't want to waste your time. Like, I'm not the owner. I'm not in a position to pay you for your time. I don't want to. He goes, no. Don't worry about it. He goes, this is a small town. This is what we do. He goes, if it's okay with you, I'll go grab him and I'll just come right up. And I'm like, okay, come on up. So they come up, and oh man, did they spend but an hour there. And it was so funny because I was explaining to him the story of what I told you guys when we were going into Golden, how we had to park and stop traffic, not once but twice. He goes, oh, that was you guys. I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, I was behind you, and I was wondering the first time, and then you got going, and then he goes, I saw you do it again, and then I was like, oh, okay, they got going, and then I didn't see you again after you got to the bottom of the hill. So I was trying to think about how to come up and see if I could help you out. I was like, oh wow. Anyway, what a small world, right? That he would be behind us on the highway. So anyhow, they took all kinds of things apart, and I mean, interesting. Oh, there's so many things. It doesn't really matter, but the turbo, yeah. So we're going to Calgary. So meanwhile, I guess what happens is Roadside books Jamie Davis towing. And I'm booking this guy because he's already got a tow going into Calgary. So I'm like, well, might as well just go with him. I said, Jamie Davis stole your first one. So, not like inadvertently. I facilitated it because I'm like, he's here, you're not. I don't want to sit on the highway anymore. So anyway, I'm going to make a few little like Z lines here in the window. You won't really see those on the video, but they'll show up for whoever gets to see the card. Anyway, I'm going to actually color the undercarriage here really dark black. So these nice guys, oh, they were so, oh, what happened there? Did I leave my black sitting out for a while? I guess I did. I'll color that after. If you notice that your markers start to get a little bit icky like that, just close them up and let them sit. And FYI, just leave them sit like this. They don't need to be up like this or up like this. They're self-leveling, so laying them this, it does nothing to do it any other way. Anyhow, so where was I?
Ben's was going to tow you.
Oh yeah, Ben's. So he's like, okay, I'm going to go back down to the shop and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to call you when I get there. And I'm going to, da, da, da. I said, okay, we're setting it all up. And then who calls but Rob over at Jamie Davis. So I'm like, oh, it's Rob. So I answer. And I'm like, hey, Rob. I said, don't worry about it. I said, I got Jason here. And he's got a tow going into Calgary. So he's going to take it. Rob's like, hold up, whoa, because this has already been booked. I got the PO right here. He goes, I'm on my way to you. And I'm like, oh, I'm telling the other guy, I'm like, right now I'm the middleman. And I'm like, I feel so bad because these guys have been here for the last hour. They took the van for a drive. They've been here all this time and I want to give them the job, but this guy's got the PO and now I feel bad. And I'm like, what do I do? And Jason is such a humble guy. He's like, don't worry about it. Let Rob take you into Calgary. Not a problem. I'm like, oh my, I felt so terrible. Anyway, so that was that. So we're waiting now for Rob to come and pick us up. Having this little sparkle here helps me create a little variation in the silver on these little crisscross lines as well. So you don't have to do all the same silver. So you can create multiple different types of silver and sparkle and whatever, right? Because Jamie Davis trucks are all sparkly. So Rob shows up, hooks us up, tandem. So he's got a flat deck with a car on it. And then he hooks us up on the back of the flat deck. And off we go to Calgary. And on the way, he stops near Field. I tell you, he stops near Field. It's pretty much, if you know the area, right where the Alberta BC border is. There was a family of 4 stranded there. Their pickup truck broke down and they were trying to get home to Golden. Might I add, the highway closes, by the way, right now because they do the bulk of their work at night. So the highway closes. So if you have not got past a certain part of that highway by 10 o'clock, they don't let you in till the next day. So he's got to get to Calgary, drop this other vehicle, then go to the dealer because he's taking us home first, and then drop all these vehicles and then get back to this family. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that poor family. I just felt, I was beside myself. I was so stressed for them because I know what it was like for me. And I had a van with food and a toilet and water, and not 2 little children. Like I could just give the dogs a chew toy and they were good, Didn't even have to threaten them to behave. But I felt terrible for this family. So anyway, he stopped to talk to them and explain to them, there's just no tow trucks, so this is the way it had to be, and he would be back for them, which he would not be, because just when you think things cannot possibly get worse, they always do somehow. So we get to Canmore, and I said, Rob, are you hungry? Let's Todd and I treat you to supper. So we went, they ate at Wendy's. I had a sandwich at Tim Hortons and got him some donuts for his ride home and, hooked him all the way up. And we get into Calgary and we pull up in front of the house. Now, of course, I have to empty this van. So we pull up in front of the house, empty out this van, which takes about a half an hour. And poor Rob, he goes to fire up his tow truck and it would not start. Now the tow truck, and all I could keep thinking was, Todd said when we were leaving Golden, as God is my witness on my dad's life, he said, well, we should be good now as long as the tow truck doesn't break down. My Bible, he said that. And I'm thinking, what are the odds? But at the same time, thank God he drove us home. Because if he didn't, I'd be stranded at downtown at the dealership. And that would just, after all that time coming home, because this is 10 o'clock at night now, when the tow truck, might I add, the initial dispatch was at 9 a.m. So this is well over 12 hours later. If I was at the dealership downtown, I would have been like, Oh, screw that plan. I would not have been that positive person at all. And trust me, you guys see the social media side of it. Heather got to see the colorful side of it. Like, I got to vent to my friend, right, Heather? A little bit, yes. I got to vent and kind of
overhear some of the phone calls.
Oh yes, she did. I'd be like, because I'd be on my phone and they'd call on Todd's phone. I'm like, hold on, and I'd be on speaker, and oh my gosh, yes, it was a nightmare. It was a mess, but nevertheless. So I remember saying to Rob, I really need a tropical damn vacation, but with my luck, I think I should steer away from planes, trains, and any other automobiles, because I had already lined up another van through a company that, should your van break down, they will just bring you another van. So I do want to put that out there. I want you to think about, if you ever rent a vehicle or a RV, think about who you're renting it from and what the policies are. Number one, we have no trip interruption on that rental. So all the money we lost for every campsite for a week, because you could not cancel, like you could, but you weren't getting your money back, we lost. The money that we had to spend to then be somewhere that we didn't want to be, thank God there was nice people, we lost. The money that it cost us in gas to get to Golden is now lost. We didn't have to pay for the tow truck. We don't have to pay for the repair. We're just waiting now for a full credit on the rental. And the owner has been gracious enough to say if we ever rent with him again, he'll give us a credit. I don't know that Todd ever would. See, me, I'm a Sagittarius. I'd be like, well, same thing can happen twice, can it? Exactly. I mean, but here's the thing. It's like, I've had a house fire and I'm like, well, I should be good now for my lifetime. And Kimberly here in the chat, she's like, whoa, wait. We had a massive flood and we lost everything in our basement, including my stamp room. And it wasn't even a year after everything was done, and the very same thing happened again. So don't think because it happened once that you're good, right? Yeah, so that, was my vacation nightmare. So we decided the next day, and we actually didn't rent the other one because I didn't realize it was an oversight. Thank God I didn't pay for it, because I had this thing all lined up before we left Golden. It was an oversight. I didn't realize this van came with no internal AC unit except in the dashboard. There wasn't one in the vehicle for when you're sleeping. And after that first night, and let me just put this into perspective. Let me do a conversion for you. The hottest day for us in Celsius, or in Fahrenheit, excuse me, was, let me go here, Celsius to Fahrenheit. Thank God my phone knows how to spell Fahrenheit, because I certainly didn't. Right? Okay, the hottest day, and I know for some of you really south people, I live in Canada, all right? Let me just put this into perspective again. The hottest day was 93.2, which is, I'm happy in my happy zone as long as it doesn't get above 68, okay? Like 20 Celsius, I'm good. Anything more than that, I'm like, okay, turn on the air conditioner, the fan's on anyway, even though the air conditioner's running. So it was hot. And yeah, no, I don't know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought now that I got on the Fahrenheit thing and told everybody I don't know how to spell it. Now they'll be like, she can't add or spell. Good thing she knows how to make cards.
That's what we got Google for.
Exactly. Oh, and then, wait. Oh my gosh. So I'm laying in bed. I did not watch TV the first night. Thank God, because I'd be $500 in debt. So the second night, Saturday night, I'm so nice. I give Todd the tablet, and here's me on this thing. There's my hand, watching TV. So I give Todd the tablet. He's like, well, I can connect to Wi-Fi. I can't. So I'm like, whatever. I have 25 gigs of data. So I'm watching 90 Day. And then I get this notice, oh, you've reached 75% of your limit. I'm like, you're on crack. So I keep watching, and it's like, you're at your limit. And I'm like, whatever. And then I got thinking about it, and I was like, how can I be at my limit? It's 25 gigs. And then I got a text, another one. And it's like, you've exceeded. And I'm like, hold on. So I phone. And they're like, no. You don't have 25 outside of Alberta. You only have 2 outside of Alberta. And I'm like, what kind of... I said, well, just upgrade me to the unlimited Canada everywhere plan. She goes, well, you can only get 3 max extra. And I'm like, well, then give me 3. Thank you. Get back to my 90-day business. So let me add, I'm halfway through a 90-minute episode and I've exceeded. Now that's with all of the, Instagram and everything from the weekend and whatever. I'm like, wow, I use my phone a lot. I wasn't even through the second half of 90 Day before I got another 75% usage notification. And I'm like, what? Something is wrong. Something's broken. So I phoned them back. I wasn't allowed to watch any more TV. So I added 3 gigs twice. So I'm like, I added 3 gigs twice for the whopping cost of $90 each time. So I'm like, okay, no, $45 each time, $90 total. So there was that. So there was always something. And I didn't even get to watch it on the tablet. It just would not, the Wi-Fi would not work. Wendy's with me. Anything above 21, I'm done. I don't like it that. I don't want it hot. I think I'm going to color my little side mirror here red really quick because it just seems like it should be red as well. But yeah, any questions? Anybody want to go on vacation with me?
Questions, concerns?
Retreat? Anybody want to do a retreat with me? Hi, Jen. Anything like that, get together type thing?
We take the Durango. It's all good.
Yeah, I know. We could all sleep in the bloody Durango and be totally fine. I'm telling you, my Lexus is looking awfully advantageous for the next time I want to take a road trip. I told Todd, I said, let's do this. Let's go back on a road trip. Let's salvage our vacation and we'll take the Lexus and just get like some, like a cabin or a chalet. Nice, good luck. Everything is booked. The only thing available is campsites. And that just wasn't happening. So we had a staycation. We stayed at home and I did some cleaning. Yay me. That was fun. Highlighted my bloody week. So that was how it all went. And a lot of you...
True Highway to Hell experience.
Yeah, so if you can watch Highway Through Hell, and it's THRU through Highway Through Hell on Discovery. It's a Canadian show. And if you see Rob, just be like, hey, Rob. He'll be like, I kind of know him. So I am going to send them a thank you card, though. They'll be like, because Rob was asking me what I do. So I was explaining. He goes, that's kind of cool. You don't have to go out, and out in the winter. You can just stay home and work. And I'm like, it's not all it's cracked up to be, but yeah, it is nice. You know what I mean? And then I got telling him about my movie Lego art and whatnot that I do at the fairs. And I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about what it is and stuff. And I don't feel like it really crosses over, but maybe one day I'll show you guys before a video or something. Oh, and speaking of fairs and videos, I have another announcement to make. So I was going to say, if you made it this far, where were you going to go? Are you out of popcorn yet? Are you like, give me another bowl?
My life feels great.
Right? I know. I mean, but I tell you, if it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have had no luck at all for that bloody weekend. But speaking of fairs and videos, I am going to be switching out the Thursday Night Live from effective immediately, hence why you don't see any booked, because this was tentative. I hadn't quite decided. I needed to kind of get some information. But I'm going to do the High River Market every Thursday from 3:30 to 6:30 for the rest of the summer because I just spent my life savings on Legos. Okay, that's a tad bit of an exaggeration because, well, it's a huge exaggeration because I don't have savings. So it's just an outright lie because I don't have to save me. Do you not watch my channel? Anyway, I've spent so much money on Legos that I'm like, okay, I gotta. And then I went to the art store and scrapbook store last week and I spent $500 freaking dollars. If you were an Inky Bestie, you got to see everything. When the girl at the scrapbook store told me my total, another customer did one of these. I was like, but it's for my business. And wouldn't you know, I got all the paints, right? All the distress paints. I was so excited. And then I put one packet down and there was 2 greens and then Lucky Clover had been duplicated. And I'm like, I got 2 Lucky Clovers. And all the besties were like, aren't you lucky? I'm like, not when it's Lucky Clover. Because Lucky Clover is not really... Do they even make a Lucky Clover ink pad? No, like Lucky Clover's gone. So I was not happy. So I had to email Ranger today. And Ranger's really good. You guys remember that happened with one of my woodless watercolor pencil things that I got? Remember? Yeah, those things. I ended up with 2 of the vintage photo, or I ended linen, antique linen, and was missing a vintage photo or something like that. So they were really good. They just sent me one out right away. Now my only worry now is that those were made and put in packets that they're going to be gone, and I'm going to be very upset if that's the case because... And it was two packages that... No, only one. Duplicated, wasn't it? No, only one. One of the packages had a color that I had already had, and that was yeah, and it's probably... I said the reason why I have that color already is because the store I bought it from has their stock for long periods of time, I guess. So, but whatever, it's paint, it's fine, it still works, so I'm not worried about it. So, anyway, yeah, so I had it. But now I'm just going to do my little spokes here. And then in between the spokes, oh, I thought this was my sparkle. I'm like jamming this down, going back and forth, thinking it was my sparkle pen. And it's not. So I better color this a little nicer. But I will go in between the spokes too and color it black because that's a thing. Now I want to give you a tip. Here's a stamping tip, go figure, on a stamp and chat with me, color whatever with me night. And if you like what just happened here tonight, why aren't you a bestie if you're not already? Because, I mean, where's all my besties at? I want to see thumbs up if this is what we do all the time in the bestie group, pretty much, right? So if you enjoyed this and you enjoyed this Cindy Lynn time, but you want to make some new bestie stamping friends, then you should. You don't need to anything, but you might want to consider becoming a bestie. But here's my tip. So this black, it's a very, and I didn't even get time to pull out my pencil crayons. I wanted to show shading on stuff on here, which I'm going to have to do because of my terrible coloring job. I know it looks really nice for you, but look at my blending. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, this is a thick tip. So what you can do is pull out your Copic multi-liner, which I only have my 0.03 here. Is this my, no, that's my Arteza. Well, I guess I'll just have to do it with a 3, unless I can find my 5 over here. I don't know where it is. Okay, the 3 is very, very, very tiny, but you can use this to color in those tight little black areas, or more importantly, when you color with your silver over top of a black line and you're like, ooh, I don't like that because you kind of hid the black line, you can bring your black lines back. This is the same as this, just in this form, okay? This will not bleed, so if you stamp something and then you go to color it and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I missed some there, or you want to write something and then color over it. This just won't bleed, okay? So you're good to go with the Copic multi-liner. And normally I link them for you guys, but they are in my kit.co, which is linked down there, down in the basement. Go down about, well, pretty much almost to the bottom step, and then hang a left and you'll see them right there, right next to the pickles. So they're in my kit.co under the coloring section. And if ever you're wondering about other things that you see me use, they're over in the kit.co, which is linked down there, right? So, but this works beautifully to color in these little tiny areas. Just don't use a 0.3, use a 0.5, because it won't take quite as long. I've got to do quite a lot of strokes here. So I think what I'll do is in my color with me, I'll finish blending this because I've got color with me on Wednesday, and I want to continue with, if you haven't been following me on Instagram, where is it? Where's my coloring page? It's probably in here. I'm just missing it. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, wow. Well, I don't know where I put it. Heather? Oh, there it is. Usually Heather knows. So this is what I started coloring, and I will share a link for this. Let me zoom out here for you guys because I'm zoomed way in. Okay, so this is what I started coloring, and what I love about this is all of these areas are so different, so you don't get bored. And the areas are nice and small, so you don't get bored. I like that. And then you can switch it up and go on to the next one. So I'm going to wait to do all the transition areas until the end to see what I think makes sense. But this one's pencil crayons. So on Wednesday, I will finish this guy up, and I'm going to have to bring out something darker than my BG 000. Probably going to have to do my double zero, B00. Let me see if that'll work better. Because that faded. Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Brenda was asking earlier where you got the picture from for the tow truck.
Oh, it's linked down below for you, Brenda. Because that's just the kind of creator I am. And shout out to whoever the company's website was. Because they said, just shout out. So shout out to them. Thank you. I don't remember the name of it, but I did link it for you guys down below. And what I did is I went into the free version of Canva. Well, I don't have the free version, but you can do this in the free version. And I was going to cut this on my brother tonight too, but I sized it, and I basically made the lines go close, you know, and I sized it so that it is.
It's Link Deli.
It's, no, it's not.
Is it?
No.
Oh, okay, that's what it has on here is linkdeli.com.
Yeah, because that's where that's the end of the link. You have to click it. Yeah, and it'll go through. So this is 3.5 and 2 ticks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. I measure as good as I spell. By from the tip of the tow truck to the bottom of the wheel is 2 1/4. So I just repeated it many times, and then these I'll just chop all up, and I have a place that I keep digital stamps, and I'll put those in there because with my luck, you know, I should actually color one in blue. What color? I should look online and see what color. Would it be kind of insulting if I sent Ben a thank you with a tow truck? I don't see why. I don't see why that would be terrible. Or not Ben, Jason with Ben's Towing. He deserves a thank you as well. But I don't want to like pour salt to injury, or however they say that. You know that saying? Because he didn't get
Pour salt in the wound?
Yeah. Anyway, so with that being said, Wednesday next week. That still says July. Whatever Wednesday is next week. I will see you guys on Tuesday. I'm going to move the lives to Tuesday, okay, until the end of September. until you see them flip back in October to Thursday, so I can do the fairs. So Tuesday night, I'll see you here for all of my inky friends. Wednesday night, I will see all my inky besties. Free trial if you want to come and hang out with us on Wednesday. And then I'll see y'all Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, until you get sick of watching me again and there's no more stories. You have to come and see us in the Inky Besties for all the stories. So, with that being said, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Heather. Can't have enough tow trucks. Well, obviously, if your name's Cindy Ling, you can't. It's like Lee can't have enough bees. Thank you, Heather, for so graciously coming again like you do every Thursday.
Yes, and just a reminder to everybody, thumbs up on the video. I know we've been giving lots of thumbs up throughout the chat, but thumbs up on the video. Don't forget to check out the link, My Inky Fingers. It's worth it.
More Cindy Lynn, Heather. And you get to hear all the voices, like, of all these other people. Like, you can come in with your video or audio or both, and you get to hear Brenda and Karen and Lee and Cheryl Lee and Allie and Jen and Mary and Karen and Wendy and Cheryl and Sarita and Jen and Christine. And Christine is like, I'm still a member in both places. I'm still here on YouTube too. And you get to hear them. And Karen and Dana, our moderator over on Facebook. Thank you so much, Dana, for all the hard work she puts in there. But it's always so nice to be able to make friends. And I tell you, these girls, they're hanging out without me now. They don't even need me anymore. But I always have Heather, so there. Anyway. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Some of you I will see tomorrow night. And until then, would you like to say goodnight, Heather?
Good night, everyone.